Hello, everybody. How you doing? Slim Overton here. Just wanted to talk a little about something I saw. I'm always seeing something when I'm out in the neighborhood or in the city driving. But in the neighborhood, I was leaving my house the other day, and I saw this little girl on a bicycle outside. It was a nice day, and it's becoming that time of the year when you see more children out on their bikes, skates, or just playing in the streets. Even though there's plenty of yard to play in, we tend to gravitate towards the street. I did it when I was coming up in the same neighborhood, but I noticed her riding. She was in her yard, in her driveway, but something told me to keep my eye on her before I attempted to make the turn onto the street, off my street, onto another street going downtown. And as I was about to make the turn, she dodged out in front of where I would be going on her bike, and I was prepared to stop. And she just looked and waved, a little innocent wave, like my bad. But if I hadn't have been paying attention, if I had been going faster than the 25 mile per hour in residence uh, law, that might have turned into something bad. And I'm just making the appeal to people when you're in your own neighborhood. Why do you have to go so fast? Why do you have to speed in your own neighborhood when you're coming home or when you're leaving? Because this time of the year, especially if you have children, you should know how impulsive children can be to jump out in front of the street or just, you know, make moves that um, can be just so spontaneous. If you are not careful when you're driving through the community or through your neighborhood on your street, knowing that kids will be playing, children will be playing, you know, um, something bad could happen. You could hit one of those children, and whether it was the kid's fault or not, for jumping out in front of you or not watching the cars like they most of them are taught, that's besides the point. A little child has been hit because you were either going too fast or you just riding through the neighborhood, not paying attention to the fact that children are out and playing in the street. And most cases, they're not paying attention to you. So we need to pay attention to them. And I would grant it that even going less than 25 would be more ideal to the safety of our children in the neighborhoods. And the stop signs are there for a reason. Because they're in the neighborhood and not on a main street, doesn't mean that you can ignore the stop sign and just ride through them like nothing else is coming, because you don't see anything coming. It's a good practice to stop at every stop sign. So it'll be something that you would do automatically anyway. If you have a habit of just going through stop signs, you're going to have that same habit of going through stop signs when it's really necessary for you to stop and look. I've seen many near accidents and some actual accidents in neighborhoods. People either going too fast, ignoring stop signs or yield signs, and not paying attention to children in the street or joggers, grown people that are jogging or walking, just to get the exercise or walking their dogs. It bothers me. Why wait until something happens, until someone is killed or someone is injured to the point where hospitalization is long-term hospitalization is necessary? Why wait for that to happen and then start thinking about what you're going to do? I need to slow down. I need to take care of, I need to watch out for children. You see me coming up here talking about drivers and driving, and I always proclaim I'm not the safest. Well, I'm not going to say that. I'm not the best driver out there. And so I'm not coming down on you. I'm just saying we need to just be more aware, especially in our own neighborhoods. Whether you have children or not, you should always be conscious of children out there, in the morning during school time. And now that the summer is approaching, more children will be out. The weather uh, is drawing more kids out to the streets, and because you did it, we tend to play in the streets. That seems to be the place to play, even with backyards and everything. That's where all the action is. So please, please, people, in your own neighborhoods, slow it down. Nothing can be that important that you have to race through the neighborhood like you're on the the interstate. And I see people coming through the neighborhoods like that. I guess sometimes you're just not thinking. You just get in your car and hit the accelerator and trying to get from A to B as quick as you can. But please think about your neighbors' children, children in general that might be playing in the street or might dodge out in the street after a ball or their dog, or even the animals. No animals should be unleashed, but sometimes animals are walking out there unleashed, and you don't want to hurt them either. So just pay attention, people. This is so important. Hate to look at the news and pay attention to the news. Watch how many pedestrians are getting hit by cars, and it, you know. I don't know. I just don't understand it, how it happens so often. A lot of times it's the pedestrians' fault trying to run against the light. But, it just pay attention when you see people on the road looking like they want to cross the street. Just take precaution. Be prepared to stop when they think they can take a chance and get by before you get to them. And they don't anticipate how close you are. So just be prepared to stop, save a life. Uh, it's just so important. I can't. And even if you don't share this video of me talking, just share the information to people sitting down. If you see people in your neighborhood, speeding through. I remember my dad used to, if he was outside and somebody came down too fast, he would try to flag them down and tell them to slow down. And if they stop, they got a lecture from him, no matter who it was. It was just so important to him. He didn't want anybody hitting me, or as my daughter was here during the summer, he didn't want anybody hitting her because she played with the neighborhood kids in the street. So, uh, yes, just be careful out there, folks. Think about the children this particular spring and summer season. Think about the children when you are out there going fast with really nowhere to go to get to but home or wherever you're going. Nothing is more important than saving a life or being prepared to stop if a child dodges out in front of your car. You don't want that on your conscience the rest of your life. Take care. We'll see you next time.